Alright guys, so I'm back again, and it's time this time to review the Life Team. This is part of my quick series that I'm trying to make right before Chaos Legion comes out. That's going over all the Chaos Legion cards. I decided to just go ahead and try to make all the videos tonight and then set them out to premiere. So sorry I won't be able to update them with any of your feedback, and if there's little mistakes in them, I am a bit sorry. I obviously will do an update to these videos if any of the cards get changed, and I will maybe do an update if you guys all would like that goes over what my new thoughts after we actually see these cards being used in the marketplace. So I'm going to get my face off the board and we're going to get to the comparison. Now, the Earth team, unlike the Life team, I don't see as much exact like for like I did in the Life team. So that's kind of cool. This set actually does something I think the Earth team was always envisioned to do, but it kind of slipped away from it, and that's have those really strong tanks, those really big attackers, and they're like the only team so far that's getting like 2 10 cost cards in this set, and they're oh no, one. I'm sorry. They're the only one that I so far has get that 10, which is kind of interesting because this card looks really good, almost like really good, but he's gonna fall victim to that giant striker. And the one thing I'd say, some of these cards are a little bit slow, but let's go ahead and get into it and we'll start talking about it. So their chicken has thorns. That's an interesting thing. It actually ties into the fact that their legendary person has amplify. This does mean that they can combo in with some of the other cards over here, and you got this. You could have this tank, floating around in the front taking a few hits, or you can be playing this one here who has thorns and backfire and dodge. This is kind of, at first I was like, oh, thorns and dodge, but I'm like, oh well, he has backfire. Okay, so you do want people to be missing because they're still going to be taking 3 damage if you're using this card here. And if not, when they do land a hit, they're going to take 2 damage if it's melee. Okay, this is all really good. They actually have their own 3-cost triage monster that also attacks with opportunity. This is really kind of crazy. It's kind of a play on the Screeching Vulture, and he's actually with Scavenge can get pretty ridiculous. This card is also really strong. Same speed, same attack, same opportunity, but triage instead of scavenge and flying. I don't know. What would you rather have? Flying is pretty cool, but for an offensive card, a card that's meant to go out and hunt people, I think the fact that he'll kind of protect himself from killing himself, he'll heal his own players on the back row, that's a very interesting combo for sure. Obviously, you can play these 2 cards together now, which will be kind of fun in the most modern format. They also get kind of a ridiculous 3-cost tank. I mean, 3 for 3 speed, 3 attack, 9 HP, and a stun. Any 3-cost monsters that have close to 9 HP? I mean, I know the Failed Summoner has a decent amount of HP for only 2 costs, but he has 0 attack, not 3 attack and a stun. So I don't know exactly. That card, I don't know. I think he gets probably not a lot of play because he's 3 cost. But imagine using this in like a super sneak mode or something. That, to me, is a really cool little card to have. When we get into the Goblin Psychic, this is a new healer for the team. It'll kind of replace the Wood Nymph when she gets removed from the set. So that's pretty cool. Also, as you can see, he gets his heal relatively quickly, right away at level 1. So this is a really cool card that is going to be very impactful for the team. If you don't have a Wood Nymph, now you can get a Goblin Psychic, and he will heal your tank right from the beginning. Then as he gets up in level, he gets Affliction to prevent the other team from healing. He gets a Silence. Silence is always really cool when you're fighting other mages. He's also a mage, and we'll go ahead and, as I talked about in one of the past videos, Obsidian is a +1 to magic. I think that's going to be devastatingly good for this team to be able to step away from necessarily doing, what they've had to do in the past to win. I mean, you're going to make Kron better. You're going to make the Shrooms better. You're going to make Centaur Mage better. And one of the interesting things here is Centaur Mage is finally getting a tank to repair. We'll talk about that when we get down here. That was one of the bummers with this card. The green team just did not have any really good high mana tanks with armor, and you want that to be on the team so that you can go ahead and use it. I mean, I know there is Pelacor Mercenary, but he's only got 1 armor, so if anybody has any kind of armor debuff, then your repair doesn't work anymore. So that's the reason why I don't really count him as an armored tank. We get a very interesting tank mage here. This is a very good card to possibly in a very high mono match play like in your second spot. If people are using big snipers or something like that, the force field is going to lower that hit down. It's going to taunt in that attack from any mages and any archers into that second position. You can play a triage monster right next to it because the princess is also a triage healer. If you have her maxed out, you could have 2 triages with this card sucking damage into that second position, 14 health, getting big heals delivered to it. That just seems really, really cool. The Regal, this card here is just a solid mage, very fast, does 3 damage. With the summoner will be doing 4, good HP, nothing wrong with this card. It doesn't have any really cool abilities. It's just going to be a solid attacker to add to the team. Obviously, this kind of replaces the Mushroom Seer, where instead of having a silence and a poison, which makes Mushroom Seer very strong, this is just a fast attacker who's going to deal that 4 magic damage very early on in the turn, which is really important. And he actually pairs well now with the Ventari Knifer because this card attacks very quickly too. So you could have them both hit that tank very early on in the turn and maybe do a lot of damage. Now we're going to go to the opposite section of the speed world with this team, and we're going to talk about the Goblin Tower and the Malignant Infantry. Are they trying to make them a good or reverse speed team? I don't know. 1-cost monsters I don't like. Not unless they have some kind of gimmick to them to make them better. If the other team debuff speed at all, then even if you're buffing speed, you're not going to get there. Overall, that makes me worry because like a 5 blast is cool, but if it never hits, then what good is that? I would rather have 4 here and like 3 speed here or something. I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't like this card too much. I'm not going to really focus on leveling it up, but you will want to have one because he does good damage early on. Like, you get one, to level 6 or something, because a 4 attack, 1 speed card will be kind of useful in reverse speed games. But other than that, I don't see him. If he's really cheap, I'll max him out just because, but he's not going to be on the top of my list. This one is interesting. Slow tanks, you can kind of give up the hope that they're going to hit the opponent just because you're hoping that his shield and giant killing means that when he does hit one of the big tanks, he hits them very hard, and he has Enrage. So that's a little bit of a trick where that 1 speed isn't as bad. That's why this card I like a little bit more. You can speed him up a little bit, which would be nice, or slow down the other team a little bit, so hopefully this 5 damage hits. But having a shielded armored tank does allow you to use cards like the Centaur Mage to get that repair in there. At the same time, having silences over here with healers, possibly another healer over here. So these 3 cards behind this card could be a very interesting play for a tank that can't be killed that much. Obviously, that only works if they're going after him, but not a lot of people are going to miss him. So they're going to hit him. When he gets enraged, maybe some of the slower guys will miss him, but not until he gets enraged. There is one thing about this team that helps them out, and that both of those cards, and that's that their 0-cost card is a slow. The kind of bummer is it's a melee attacking chicken slow. You're going to want the slow to last, so he's probably, I don't know how often this card's ever going to hit anybody. It's only going to be in certain game modes where he happens to be attacking as well. You're not going to want to put that in the front row because you're going to want to protect the slow. Now we talk about Grood, the 10-cost card. So this one actually is like Rexy improved. The reason why I say that is poor little Rexy, it didn't seem like it had quite enough HP. I don't know, just when it worked, Rexy was cool. Maybe I only had it at level 7, so it never worked for me. But the idea being we get a card that's doing 8 damage per turn, has 2 attacks to try to finish someone off, and then trample through to the next monster and hit him twice is very cool. But a stun on a double striker is awesome. 2 chances to stun every single time he attacks. That is pretty sweet. So you got 2 chances to stun, and then if he doesn't stun, if he kills, then he has 2 chances to stun the next monster, or maybe he's just going to kill both of them. Overall, fun card, with the caveat the giant killers will hit him very hard. He doesn't have armor natively, so you have to just be ready to know that if you use him and somebody's using any of the other tanks out there with giant killer, you could be in trouble. He's going to be really, really fun in Super Sneak, and melee monsters can attack from anywhere. That's for sure, though, especially high mana. The next, we get another Sniper. True Sniping Sniper with 2 is actually a great card for the team because the main archers that they have are fast, but hit a little bit less. So there is, if you have her, there is the Spirit of the Forest. So she does a good sniping attack. And I know why some of my cards aren't showing when I'm in here. It's because I have an alpha Spirit of the Forest. There she is. And then you have the, where is it? The Child of the Forest, the 3-cost one. But he's also very fast too. So both of those snipers are very fast. Now you can mix in another sniper into the team that attacks later on. So the nice thing about that is the Child of the Forest will hit the monster for 3 early on. He's got a fast attack, so if he's flying, he probably lands that below snares him. Not important for the True Sniper, but now the armor is gone or they're weakened and he comes in, he can't misses, and he finishes them off later in the turn. So these 2 cards will work well together. That's why I don't mind that he's a little bit slower, especially because he has True Strike, so speed doesn't really matter. The Acid Shooter is a 2-cost, 2-damage card. That's awesome. He has the Scatter ability, so this is their Scatter Shot monster. Low cost, kind of like the Life one. I think the high cost one that the Life team has will be more impactful. But at the same time, the one thing I need to double check, and I'm sorry I don't know all of these things, but I haven't been able to play test the cards or talk to anybody that has. That's why I will make updated videos, because I could be underestimating how powerful he has. Can Shatter Scott poison everyone? I don't think so, because I've never seen blast when a poison monster gets blasted. I've never seen him poison both monsters, but maybe Scattershot does. Does it cripple everyone? That's an interesting one. I don't know. If it does, then this is a ridiculously fun little card. Their legendary card, like we touched on it before, this card's slow. Don't mind it as much because it's a healer. You want to let monsters get hit so that you can heal. It's a mage, so it won't miss that magic attack. It will be doing 2 when it teams up with the new summoner. That's really cool too. And it has both Protect and Rust. This is really cool because now you can give monsters like Mr. Pellicor Mercenary 3 armor instead of 2, so a single Rust won't remove his armor, which then allows the repairs that can be done by the Centauri Mage to be used more often. So those kind of combo connections now look really good. You put this one on the board with this one and the Pellicor. Now you've got him doing self-heal, you've got him getting armor repaired, you've got him extra protected, and then you got this monster sitting in the sniper spot, possibly getting sniper bouncing damage back while being repaired by triage. That looks like a really good lineup right away. And you get that Rust to get the armor out of the way, which helps him actually hit for damage when he's hitting with his 3 and possibly doing to bounce back damage to hit for 3 more. So overall, that's really cool. Also, Rust helps snipers. If you're making your archer snipers go, you don't want their attacks really to be hitting armor. Or Rust also helps your possible opportunity plays. So this card is just a solid card that'll be on the team. 4 cost is really, really good. Now, we touched on this before, their 0 cost legendary has slow. This helps the team overall. It gives them the ability to have a free slow on the board. It also gives the ability in the modern format with everything to have possibly 3 cards that can give a 3-speed change, but how often is that going to want to be used? Because you have to use up 3 cards at 0, 1, and 1, and that's the Ooze and the Brownie comboed in with the Fungus. So we'll have to see, though. Sometimes that might be something that's worth doing because speed is very important. Cards that can help them. Obviously, this archer that does speed and strengthening can help any team that has some monsters that are a little bit slower. So when you're using these slower monsters, this monster could fit into their team. Because they have a summoner that adds magic, the 2 mages of the neutral set make a lot of sense as cards that would be used with them. And this Amplify can maybe help them double amplify. I don't know if that works. I need to confirm, but if it does, this is an obvious card to add into the team occasionally. Triage. When everyone triages, it can be kind of ridiculous, especially if people are opportunity or snipering. Not as useful, though, because I don't know how often you're going to want to run 1, 2, 3. And if you run the Princess 4 triage monsters on the board, that would be, I don't know, might be fun just to do for fun. They can probably use this one here. The team doesn't have a good 4-cost tank. They just don't. They don't have one from before. I mean, if people think Biceratops is really good, then I don't know. He can be. Maybe he's a little better with Amplify cards now. But I do think that the Zenith Monk will sometimes be able to play in like a Little League match or a very low mana match. Though, yeah, not necessarily it has to be. But it could be a card that you use with them. I don't really see the Legionnaire as being used with them very much. That's why it's kind of interesting when you see these big 9-cost cards that are pretty cool. They've got a 10, they got a 8-cost, a 10-cost here. They got a 9-cost Mage. They have a lot of big cards here, so I don't know if there'll be a team that uses this one. And, we'll just take one last look at Obsidian really quick. +1 magic to the team just changes the overall dynamic. You've got some great mages on this team. The magic of the forest, especially for when you're talking about doing things in, the max level. You've got the Sporcer, who's just an awesome card with his silence and his rust, and then now he's going to be doing 4 magic damage. You got the Spirit Shaman, who's super fast, stuns. He's going to be doing 3. Now, obviously, not all of these cards are going to be used in the newest format. That's when you're going to get down to like this one, this one, this one. But that's not going to be live right away. Oh, yeah, now you can have your Goblin dealing 3 sneak damage, and your Wood Nymph dealing 3 damage when it is on the board. So this is a very cool card. It's going to let you do some very, very different lineups for the teams that are very, very mage heavy. Obviously, that doesn't always work, but when it does, it's usually pretty strong. Like Aldrich, when he comes out, sometimes he just blows you away, right? Well, now you're going to have to worry about that coming from the green team as well. All right, everybody, I hope these are being helpful, and I hope a lot of you are watching them and liking the videos. We're going to go ahead and move on to the water team next.